We're doing a special historical color match today about the invention of synthetic dyes. In part 1 here, we'll color match shades of mauve, which was the first synthetic dye ever created, while we work on a sewing project. We're gonna head out now to go get the fabric. And then in part 2 of this series, we'll be going downtown to what used to be one of the biggest synthetic dye factories in the country. Until the mid-1850s, dyes were all natural. You want to get a piece of suede tan like this, you need to make a dye out of something like plants or animals, vegetables, fruits. So you'd need to boil down a whole lot of plants in order to get the amount of dye you needed. And this can be time consuming and the dyes would fade quickly. We're actually going to need these to stuff what we're sewing. That store was a side quest. Now we're heading to the fabric store. So that's natural dye. Synthetic dye, on the other hand, is chemically made. So it's like an artificial version of the natural stuff. The story of how synthetic dye was invented begins with something totally unrelated. Malaria. You see, in the mid-1800s, the British Empire was colonizing tropical areas, and a lot of their soldiers were contracting malaria. Now, the only remedy for malaria at this time was made from the bark of the cinchona tree in the tropical Andes forest, South America. So that's extremely expensive to get. Meet 18-year-old British student William Henry Perkin, who was focused on trying to create synthetic quinine to remedy malaria for a fraction of the cost of real quinine. We'll get some of this fiberfill. Let's see here. We'll get this one. So Perkin was using coal tar for his experiments. See, when coal is transformed into fuel, one of the byproducts left behind is a thick brown or black liquid known as coal tar. Kind of gross, kind of smelly, but it's a very rich mixture of organic chemicals. I think we'll get this as one of the colors. And when you isolate these chemicals, such as naphthalene and benzene, you have a starting point for other derivative chemicals. I think we'll do these 3 right here. Head back home now, do the color matching and the sewing. Sir William Henry Perkin started out with aniline, derived from coal tar, and he was seeing whether oxidizing it would produce synthetic quinine. Well, it didn't work. He was hoping for a colorless liquid. Instead, he wound up with a bright purple one. Give us a shot here. Yep. Instead of just cleaning it up, he's mesmerized by it. He knows that natural dyes for purple are expensive, tricky, and rare, which is why typically only royalty wore purple. So, accident or not, he sees the value and the potential with what he just created. A wash-proof, vivid dye that has the potential to be inexpensively mass-produced compared to traditional dye methods. He's going to bring the color purple to the masses. Let's give us a shot here. Yup. So with his entrepreneurial spirit, he develops and patents it in 1856 at the age of just 18 years old. And it's known by a variety of names: aniline purple, mauvine, purple aniline, Perkins mallow. But then things don't go according to plan because people are wary of trusting a dye that's made synthetically. Does it work as well? Is it artificial? Is it gaudy? Does it feel fake to wear it? Cheap? And that's when 2 fashionistas step in. Empress Eugenie, wife of Napoleon III, and Queen Victoria wore mauvine, which changed everyone's opinion on it. And now it's cool to wear mauvine and everyone wants it. This created a high demand for mauve and for other synthetic dyes which were developed soon after. And from here forward, everything starts to get really complicated because of industrialization, pollution, and the overconsumption of goods. Let's give us a shot here. Yep. We'll talk about some of these things next week when we go to visit what was the biggest synthetic dye factory in the country. Well, did you figure out what this was? This is a draft blocker. It keeps the cold wind out, and it helps us use less energy to heat the home. Better for the environment, right? So I'm Lisa Cornwell. I'm the Color Match Queen. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.